There's been a lot of news coming out of Rutgers the last week or so. Do you have to address that with your guys, tell them to tune it out, or what do you say to them about that?
No, I think the biggest thing is we focus on Penn State, focus on our standards of how we want to practice and how we want to play and how we want to prepare. But it's always just about us. That you obviously have to have an awareness of your opponent and who you're playing and things like that. But I want them to focus on Penn State.
And do you take into account the fact that the head coach won't be there for the game when you're preparing? Does it make any difference to you?
I've never been in this situation before. From what I understand, all their preparation is still going to be exactly the same. They got an experienced staff. Like I've said before, they've been running the same systems on offense, defense, and special teams. And they got a veteran staff, so no, it won't affect how we prepare.
Coach, Saeed Blacknall hasn't had much of an impact this season. Has he shown you anything in practice to kind of boost himself in the depth chart? What have you seen from him the past 2 weeks?
Yeah, he's doing fine. We haven't thrown the ball a whole lot, guys. I mean, that's the factor. We're focused on protecting our quarterback, running the ball. We're going to throw the ball more, but it's going to be a gradual process, and those guys are focused on the team and finding a way to be successful this Saturday, however we got to do it.
What kind of stuff do you show the offensive line in practice in terms of different looks from defenses that they might see?
That to be honest with you, that's the fine line of how much do you show them chaos and how much do you show them base looks. And that's the struggle with a line that's still trying to gain experience. You want base looks to allow them to gain confidence and then grow from there. But the problem is people aren't going to take that approach on Saturdays. So that's the fine line in practice. How much do you give them base? How much do you give them blitz looks? How much you twisting? How much you doing those things? And then also that you're not chasing ghosts. That's the art of it.
Is that easier than last year this time?
I'm sorry?
Is that easier to do than last year this time?
Yeah, I think it's probably, I wouldn't say easier, but it's probably a little bit further along. Yeah, a little bit further along. The difference is people had already identified what our issue was from last year. So last year at this time, people were trying to figure out what our issue was, and once it was identified, then they attacked it. People already knew that going into it.
Coach, you said on Tuesday you had a lot of respect for Kyle Florida. Just all the allegations and the investigation by Rutgers. Has your opinion changed of him at all the past few days?
Yeah, I'm focused on Penn State. I do have tremendous respect. I don't know specifics or details. I got tremendous respect for Kyle, their whole coaching staff, the university. I've known those guys for a long time. A lot of guys on their staff. Again, but I don't know specifics or details. I can just tell you about my 20 years in the profession and my focus on Penn State.
In your 20 years in the profession, James, have you ever contacted a professor on behalf of the school?
I'm focused on Penn State, preparing for the game on Saturday.
Coach, you said after the game on Saturday that Mike came up to you and told you that he's going to be better. You told him you knew it. We see him after practice here working extra. Is that something that you and your coaching staff suggested to him, or is that something he takes upon himself to do?
No, we're not allowed to suggest that they practice more than what's required. I think you see that with a lot of our guys doing things that they want to do to get better. They know what their weaknesses are, what their strengths are based on meetings and things like that. But no, I didn't even know he was back there, to be honest with you.
Is that a cool feeling as a coach to see that, though?
I think so, because I think that's what it takes. That's how it is in our building. I think that's how it is in football. I think that's how it is in life. If you want to be successful, you can't do what the minimum requirement is. You got to be willing to do more. It's a little bit of a challenge right now in our society, in my opinion, but that's what we're trying to teach.